I met her on a dating app. That alone should have been my first red flag, but I ignored it. My name is Darren, and I live just outside Philadelphia. At the time, I was 31, recently out of a dull 3-year relationship. I was not looking for anything too serious. I just wanted to talk to someone, maybe go on a few casual dates. Feel normal again. Her name was Lily. At least that was the name she gave me. Her profile showed a girl who looked to be in her mid-20s. Long dark hair, pale skin, big, almost too bright blue eyes. The photos were oddly curated, no selfies, just grainy images taken from odd angles. Some were black and white, like they had been scanned from old film. Her bio was short. Here to make a real connection. Ask me something interesting. That was it. No last name, no city listed. Not even a vague within 10 miles, like most profiles had. Still, something about her intrigued me. Maybe it was the mystery. Maybe it was how her eyes seemed to follow you across the screen. So I messaged her. Something lame. Are you into horror movies or true crime podcasts? She replied 5 minutes later. Only if they're based on real events. That sparked a full conversation. We started chatting almost daily, then every hour. Her responses were quick, but always short. No emojis, no LOLs, but she was interesting. She asked smart questions. Deep ones like, have you ever been afraid of your own thoughts? Do you ever feel like you're not alone, even when you are? At first, I thought it was playful, kind of goth girl energy. But then her tone never shifted. Every reply had the same vibe, cool, quiet, intense. After 2 weeks, I asked if she wanted to meet. She replied, I do, but only if you're ready to see the real me. That should have set off every alarm in my head, but instead I laughed it off and said I was ready. We agreed to meet for coffee in Old City, near a small bookstore cafe she said she liked. The night before our meet, she messaged again, saying, just promise me something. When you see me, don't say my name. Out loud, I replied, that's weird. Why? She never explained. The next morning, I waited outside the cafe, pacing. 10 minutes went by, then 15. I was starting to think I had been stood up when I saw her. She was even paler in person. Same dark hair, same cold, bright eyes. She wore an old-fashioned beige coat that looked like something from the 1960s. Her movements were quiet, floaty, like she did not quite touch the ground. She approached me without smiling. You are Darren, she said. Not a question, I nodded. You're Lily, right? Her face froze. She blinked slowly, then looked away. Do not say my name, she said softly. I forced a nervous laugh. Okay, sorry. You're serious about that, huh? She did not respond, just walked past me and into the cafe. I followed, confused, trying to convince myself she was just eccentric. We sat in a corner booth, far from the other customers. I noticed that she did not order anything. She just stared at me, her hands folded perfectly in her lap. Then she said something strange. You're not afraid of dying, are you? I blinked. Not exactly how most first dates go. She tilted her head, studying me. Would you want to know when it is coming? Or would you rather be surprised? I tried to keep it light. I think I'd prefer not knowing. She smiled then, but it was not comforting. Most people say that. At that point I was uncomfortable, but still fascinated. I felt like I was sitting across from someone pretending to be human. She did not blink often. She barely moved. But her eyes never left mine. We talked well. I talked for about 30 minutes. She asked personal questions. Some too personal. Do you live alone? Do your neighbors know you well? Have you ever gone missing, even for a little? Well, eventually I tried to wrap it up. I told her I had to get going. She stood without argument and said, "Thank you for meeting me. You'll remember this later, I promise." I did not know what that meant. I just said, yeah, it was different. She walked out and disappeared around the corner. I never saw her leave. No car. No bus. She was just gone. That night I kept thinking about her. Something was wrong. Off. I pulled out my phone and opened the dating app to reread our messages, but her profile was gone. Not just deleted, erased, even our conversation. History had vanished, something I had never seen happen before. I Googled the app's customer service, thinking maybe it was a glitch, but then I remembered I had screenshots. I had taken one early on, during our third or fourth day chatting, when she had said something strange. I only talk to people who are already marked. I pulled up my gallery and opened the screenshot folder. Gone. Every single one. I tried to tell myself it was a bug. Maybe I had accidentally deleted them. Maybe she had some privacy feature. But that night, as I was trying to sleep, I heard something. Soft knock. Not on my front door, but on my bedroom window. I live on the second floor. That window is 10 feet off the ground. I sat up slowly, heart pounding, listening. Another knock. Deliberate. Slower this time. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, creeping to the window. The curtains were closed. I reached out and pulled them open. Nothing. Just darkness. But when I looked down at the window pane, I saw it. A smudge. Like someone had dragged their finger across the glass. A spiral shape. I stood frozen for a long time. Then my phone vibrated. A text from an unknown number. "You said my name? That is how they find you." I never replied. The next few days were quiet. I slept with a bat next to my bed. I kept the lights on. I checked the locks obsessively. Eventually, I convinced myself it was just a crazy girl messing with me. A weird but explainable incident. Then a week later, I got a call from an old friend, Jason. He sounded panicked. "Dude, did you meet someone online named Lily?" I felt cold. "Yeah. Why?" He was breathing hard. I saw her in a dream. She was in my room, just standing there. She said I was next. I did not sleep that night. A few days later, Jason was found in his apartment unresponsive, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. No signs of trauma. No injuries. Just gone. The doctors said it was sudden cardiac arrest. But Jason had never had heart issues. He was 30 and healthy. At the funeral, I kept scanning the crowd, expecting to see her face in the distance. I never did. But every few months, I get another message. No number, no contact info, just the same phrase. They're watching. You opened the door. I have deleted every dating app, changed phones, moved to a new apartment. But sometimes when I walk past a mirror at night, I see something behind me. A figure, dark hair, pale skin, cold, empty eyes. And even when I close my eyes, I still hear her whispering my name. I met Erin on the Thursday. She liked books, long walks, and had a dog named Baxter. Her profile was the most normal thing I had seen after weeks of doom scrolling through fake bios, filters, and scam bots. She looked sweet red hair, freckles, genuine smile. Her photos looked real, not staged. Her captions were simple. Her bio just read, "Looking for something real? Please be normal." I laughed when I saw that. It was exactly how I felt. We matched instantly. My name is Lucas. By the way, I was 27, working remote in Denver, and pretty sick of dating apps. The ones I used seemed to be filled with people who wanted attention, not connection. But Erin seemed different. Our chat was fun, comfortable. She had a dry sense of humor and asked about my job, my favorite movies, my worst fears. It felt natural. Even when she asked the weirder stuff, like, if you disappeared tomorrow, who would notice first? Or, do you ever dream of your own funeral? That should have been weird, I guess, but I had been on enough awkward dates to accept quirks. As part of the deal, I even joked back, as long as no one tries to murder me, I'm game for anything. She replied, no promises. I thought it was a joke. We decided to meet up the next night. She picked a place about 30 minutes outside Denver, a quiet bar called The Grange, surrounded by woods and farmland. I had never heard of it, but she insisted it had the best chili in Colorado. Trust me, she wrote. You'll love it. So I went. When I arrived, the parking lot was empty. The neon sign above the door flickered, half burnt out. It was not what I expected, but I figured maybe she liked low-key spots. Inside, it was nearly dark. Just a couple of dim ceiling lights and an old jukebox humming in the corner. I did not see anyone behind the bar. No customers either. I sat in a booth and messaged her, "Hey, I'm here. You close?" No response. 5 minutes passed. Then I saw her. She came in through a side door, not the front. Erin looked exactly like her photos. Same smile, same eyes, but something was off. She walked stiffly, like her legs did not bend right. Her face was pale, paler than I remembered. And she was not smiling anymore. She slid into the booth across from me without saying a word. "Hey," I said. "You all right?" She tilted her head slowly. "You came." Her voice sounded dry, like she had not spoken in days. I chuckled nervously. "Yeah, of course. You invited me." She just stared at me. Then she said, "How does it feel to know you are real?" I blinked. "Sorry, what?" She leaned in closer. Her eyes looked dull now, like faded glass. So many people online. Just noise. But you bleed, you remember. You can feel things. That is why I picked you." I laughed, hoping she was joking. Okay, this is starting to sound like a Netflix horror monologue. She did not laugh. Instead, she placed something on the table between us. It was a small box, wooden, carved with symbols I did not recognize. She slid it toward me. "What is this?" I asked. "Your part in the ritual," she whispered. "Everyone gives something, a piece of themselves." I stood up, half joking, half serious. "Okay, Erin, whatever game this is, I am not playing." She looked up at me calmly. "Not Erin," she said. "That name was borrowed. Just like this face." Then she reached up and pulled. Her skin, her face, her entire face peeled off in a slow, deliberate motion like a wet mask. Underneath was Nothing. Just darkness. A black void where her face should have been. No eyes, no mouth, no nose. Just an endless hollow, like I was looking into a pit with no bottom. I stumbled backward, knocking over the table. The box hit the floor with a dull thud. I turned to run, but the door I came in through was gone. Vanished. Behind me. I heard her voice, distorted now, echoing from all sides. You are the third. The blood must be balanced. I ran toward the bar, hoping there was a back exit. As I jumped the counter, I saw a flash of something move in the corner. Another figure. Another version of Erin. Same face, same clothes, but this one had no eyes. Just deep, bleeding sockets. She was crawling across the floor toward me. I ran through the kitchen, heart slamming in my chest. Every door I opened led to more rooms, endless hallways, dark staircases that looped back into the same places I had already been. At one point, I ended up back in the same booth. Same table. Same box. But Erin was gone. I grabbed the box and opened it. Inside was a photo of me, sitting at my desk, from outside my apartment window, and below it, my driver's license. I never gave her my address. I never told her where I lived. Suddenly, I heard movement, a soft, dragging sound, wet, sloppy. Turned and saw dozens of people crawling out of the darkness. Men, women, all with the same empty faces, all skin stretched and torn. Each one was wearing someone else's identity. I recognized them. A girl I matched with last year, a guy I saw on Instagram, a Tinder date from college. They were all here, wearing masks made of faces. I dropped the box and ran again. Eventually, I found a small staircase that led up. I climbed it blindly, hearing footsteps behind me. When I reached the top, there was a single door, plain wood, no markings. I opened it and found myself back in my apartment. Like I had just stepped out of a dream, but my hands were shaking. My knees were bleeding, and I was still holding the photo of myself. I did not sleep that night. I deleted every dating app, smashed my phone, burned the photo and license, but it did not stop. A week later, I found another box outside my door. Same carvings, same size. Inside was a new photo. This time, it was my brother, sitting in his car, looking straight ahead. I called him immediately. He answered, confused, said he was fine. That night, he went missing. His car was found in the woods. Driver's door open, engine still running. No sign of him. Just a small wooden box on the passenger seat. Inside it, my photo again. A message scratched into the wood. You bring them. We take them. I have not spoken to anyone since. I moved across the country, got a burner phone, changed my name, but I know they are still out there. Swiping, watching, waiting for the next person to match with a girl named Erin or Paige or Sarah. Or whatever name they wear next. I was not looking for love. I just wanted distraction. It had been a rough year, divorce, job loss, and a move from Chicago to a small, boring town in Oregon. So when I downloaded that dating app, I did not expect much, just conversation. Maybe a coffee or two. Nothing serious. That is how I met Lena. Her profile popped up at 2:13. She was breathtaking. Dark, tangled hair, piercing green eyes, a forest in the background of every photo. Her bio was just one line. Let me show you where the trees go quiet. I matched her without thinking. Her first message came almost instantly. You are new here. I replied, yeah, guess it shows. You look like you do not belong yet, but you could. That reply felt oddly poetic, mysterious, but in a way that made me curious, not uncomfortable. We talked all night. She was sharp, philosophical. She liked ancient history and folklore. She asked deep questions about memory, trauma, death. She made me feel seen, like she understood the silence I had been living in for the last year. By sunrise, I was hooked. We messaged nonstop for 2 days. Then she suggested we meet. I hesitated. I had not dated in a while, and something about her felt otherworldly. But when I said I was unsure, she replied, let me show you my place. Just once. If it feels wrong, you can leave. Against my better judgment, I agreed. She dropped a pin. The location was in the forest an hour north of town, middle of nowhere. No roads led there, just a trail that disappeared into the woods. I asked if she was serious. She said, come at dusk. The path only opens when the light dies. Again poetic. Maybe pretentious. But I could not say no. Something about her made it feel like a dream. I needed to walk into so I drove. Parked my car at the trailhead. The sun was setting behind the pine trees when I stepped onto the dirt path. It was narrow and winding, covered in moss and fallen branches. No signs, no cell signal. Just the sound of birds fading into evening. As I walked deeper, the air grew colder. The forest got quieter. No crickets, no wind, just silence. Then I saw her, standing by a crooked tree. Lena. Same hair, same eyes, but her face looked different now. Sharper, hollow. Her skin had a gray tint, like she had not seen sunlight in years. Still, she smiled. You came. She walked ahead of me, barefoot on the pine needles. Her dress dragged behind her like mist. We passed old stones, carved symbols, trees bent into unnatural shapes. How far is your place? I asked. She looked over her shoulder. Not far. It finds us. That was the first thing that really scared me. We arrived at a small cabin, nestled between 2 ancient oaks. It looked impossibly old, wooden, crooked, wrapped in vines that seemed to pulse when I looked directly at them. Inside, it was dark, cold. The windows were covered. The walls were etched with lines, dozens of them scratches, like someone had been keeping count of something. Are those days? I asked. She said nothing. Instead, she lit a candle and sat cross-legged on the floor. I want to show you something, she whispered. From under a loose floorboard, she pulled out a thick notebook, leather-bound, old. She opened it and handed it to me. It was filled with profiles. Photos, bios, names, all from dating apps. Every single person she had matched with, and next to each one a pressed flower, dry, flattened, marked with a date. Why do you have these? I asked. She leaned closer. Because you do not meet people like me by accident. We find who we need. I stood up. This is not funny. It is not supposed to be, she said. None of them listened either. I turned for the door, but it was gone. Literally gone. Where the entrance had been was now just wall. No seams, no hinges, just rough wood. I spun around. She was still sitting, eyes closed now. whispering in a language I had never heard. Her voice changed deeper, echoing. Like multiple people were speaking through her, the walls began to breathe. I swear to you. They inhaled. The candle flickered. The room grew colder. From the corners of the ceiling, figures emerged. They slid down the walls, pale, faceless, moving, like spiders. Each of them wore a tattered piece of clothing that looked modern: jeans, hoodies, jackets. All of them were the people from a notebook. Lena opened her eyes. They stayed, she whispered. Now they are part of the silence. I screamed, ran to a window, smashed it with a stool. Glass shattered, but beyond the frame there was nothing, just black dot, no trees, no stars, no ground. Just void. I backed into a corner, breath ragged. Lena stood up. Her face began to peel, like wax melting in slow motion. Beneath it was bark, twisted, blackened bark, cracked and bleeding sap. Her arms splintered, her hair turned to vines. Was not human. She had never been. You were broken, she said. Just like the others. That is why the forest lets you in. You belong to it now. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was outside, lying on the trail. The sun was up. Bird CHIRPED. My car was nearby. But when I looked at my phone, I saw something that made me drop it. A new match. Her profile pic was blank. But the bio said, "Let me show you where the trees go quiet." The story may be over, but the silence it leaves behind is louder than ever. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow Sleep No More. Because the next nightmare is already on its way.